Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 12, text 17. Yo na hrishyati na dveshti, na shochati na kankshati, shubha shubha parityagi, bhaktiman yasame priyaha. Yo na hrishyati na dveshti, na shochati na kankshati, shubha shubha parityagi, bhaktiman yasame priyaha. Yo na hrishyati na dveshti, na shochati na kankshati, shubha shubha parityagi, bhaktiman yasame priyaha. Translation: one who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things, such a devotee is very dear to me. Purport: a pure devotee is neither happy nor distressed over material gain and loss, nor is he very much anxious to get a son or disciple, nor is he distressed by not getting them. If he loses anything which is very dear to him, he does not lament. Similarly, if he does not get what he desires, he is not distressed. He is transcendental in the face of all kinds of auspicious and inauspicious sinful activities. He is prepared to accept all kinds of risks for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. Nothing is an impediment in the discharge of his devotional service. Such a devotee is very dear to Krishna. Yo na hrishyati na dveshti na shochati na kankshati, shubha shubha parityagi, bhaktima yasame priyaha. One who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things, such a devotee is very dear to me. Now, this level that is described here is very difficult to attain. And this is possible only for a person who is on a transcendental level, who has transcendental consciousness. In other words, somebody who is highly Krishna conscious. But Krishna is listing these qualities, and in other places also listing many other qualities to show us what he wants us to attain, what kind of level, what level of consciousness, what kind of spiritual level, what kind of mentality, and there is several places in the Bhagavad Gita where he mentions similar things and similar qualities, and these lists are spread throughout the Gita to remind us and to help us check where we are at the moment in our attempts to make spiritual advancement and to develop or to awaken divine qualities. So, obviously, here, all these things that are mentioned, they relate to material things, material rejoicing, material grieving, material lamentation, material desires, and material auspicious and inauspicious things. Spiritual life is not dry, and in spiritual life the goal is not renunciation, but the goal is bhakti, or pure devotional service, the pure love of Krishna. And here says that devotee renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things, but in another place it is said that the devotee accepts everything that is favorable or auspicious and rejects everything that is unfavorable. Anukulasya sankalpat pratikulasya varjanam. And these two attitudes are actually first two items of the 6 items of surrender, or 6 symptoms of surrender. accepting what is favorable and rejecting what is unfavorable. And here it says that one renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things. So what we understand here is that this refers to material auspicious and inauspicious things. And of course we want to accept everything that is favorable for devotional service and reject everything that is unfavorable. And Srila Prabhupada explains this in the purport. He says that a pure devotee is neither happy nor distressed over material gain and loss. Then he is not very much anxious to get a son or disciple, nor is distressed by not getting them. For example, if somebody is a family man, he always, or a king, he wants to get a son, like Chitraketu wanted to get a son. But he was very anxious about this, getting a son. And he couldn't get a son, and then by the blessings of sages, some sages, two sages, I think Narada Muni and Angita Muni, he got a son, and his name was Harsha Shoka, and Harsha Shoka means happy, distressed. The translation of his name is that happy, distressed. So his name shows that he will bring to his father happiness and distress also. Happiness, pleasure and pain. And because he was the son of only one of the queens, other queens were envious and they poisoned the boy because they didn't have a child. And king was very much in pain. He was pained. He was in so much pain. And then Narada Muni came again, and by his mystic power, he revived the boy. And then the boy started speaking and preaching to Maharaj Chitraketu. So king was so attached that he only could listen from his son who has come back to life. He couldn't listen from Narada Muni, he couldn't listen from the scriptures, he only could listen from the mouth of the boy he was attached to. So people in the material world are attached to having children because the whole arrangement in the material world is to be happy in family life. And he wanted to have a child, and similarly some other grihastha may want to have a child. Or if somebody is a spiritual person, maybe sannyasi or vanaprastha, he is anxious to get disciples, to get followers. We see that in our movement in the beginning, when someone becomes approved as a Diksha Guru, he accepts easily a lot of disciples, but later it becomes very difficult. You have more and more disciples, more and more responsibility, and becomes very difficult to take care of all disciples and deal with all of their problems and all of their karma. So it says here that a pure devotee is not anxious to get a disciple. If he may get a disciple or not. He will always do his service and glorify the Lord, preach, try to inspire people to take up to Krishna consciousness. So he's detached in that way. Of course, he likes people to take up Krishna consciousness and to get benefited from that. But if it doesn't happen, he will continue with his devotional service. If he loses anything which is very dear to him, he doesn't lament. Now this is difficult. This is very difficult, especially if you lose a person. If you lose some money, okay, you can be maybe detached. But if you lose a person, if you lose a family member or a friend, then it's very painful. So those who actually can think like this, they are very, very much on the spiritual platform. And another thing, another great challenge described by Srila Prabhupada is, if he does not get what he desires, he is not distressed. Now this, for everybody in the material world, is so difficult. If one does not get what he desires, he is very much disturbed and very much distressed. But the person who is in higher consciousness, they actually don't. They understand that anyway nothing belongs to me, so why should I get stressed? I come to this life naked, without anything, and maybe I'm not dying naked, I'm dying, maybe my body is burned, or I'm buried into the soil, into the earth, but I cannot take with me anything. So we come without nothing, without anything, and we leave without anything, and in the meantime we possess something, but it's temporary. We are possessing temporary things. So devotee understands that everything belongs to Krishna. My wife belongs to Krishna, my son belongs to Krishna, my daughter, my possessions, my money. Krishna has kindly given me some money and work, and but this is for my temporary use, and I want to engage it in His service, for glorification of Krishna, for worshipping Krishna, for chanting the holy names of the Lord. If one has a car, he can use the car to go to a place where people are glorifying the Lord, where people are chanting the holy name. Or you can use public transport, you can buy a day ticket and come to the temple. So, if he does not get what he desires, he is not distressed. He is transcendental of all kinds of auspicious in inauspicious sinful activities. Sinful activities cannot be auspicious. I think inauspicious, sinful activities refers to inauspicious activities. But auspicious in the sense of materially pleasurable activities, materially auspicious activities. So whether something is auspicious materially or not, devotee is not, doesn't become attached. Like Srila Prabhupada, they made a palace for him in Virginia, West Virginia, but he was spending the same time in that place as if any other place. Some other places were very austere, maybe, like sometimes, I don't know, in Vrindavan. It was cold, the room, stone walls. He had an amazing bathroom. I've seen this, I visited there, but he didn't spend more time in that bathroom than he would spend in any other bathroom. He was not attached to this opulence, to what devotees had made for him to glorify him. So sometimes devotee can sleep under the tree, and sometimes he can sleep in the palace. And for him, what is important is his devotional service. And now the last point, actually there is two more points in the purport. He is prepared to accept all kinds of risks for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. So we see even nowadays devotees are taking risks. And also in the Vaishnava history, Lord Nityananda has taken risks to preach to Jaga in Mane. Haridas Thakur has taken a risk to preach to the prostitute. Devotees sometimes go to Muslim countries and preach there, and it's very dangerous to say that God is a person or that the God has a form. I remember Bhaktivinoda Swami told us that he went to Middle East in one country and he was preaching that God has lotus feet. And they started to chase him, to kill him. And he was running in the desert. And fortunately one car came and saved him and took him away. But they were running after him to kill him with knives, I think. Just because he said that the God has feet. For them this was a big offense. And also in 92, we went with the same Maharaj. We went to Albania. It was just after communism fell, but still it was quite risky. Fortunately, we didn't have big problems, but there was some problems. That some boys were pulling his sika, or he went with another devotee to nearby coast of the sea, and they were throwing stones at them. Like joking, half jokingly, but they were real stones. I mean, they didn't avoid them, I think it would have hurt them. But fortunately, recently, one Prabhu from Czech Republic wrote me and asked me if I remember about that visit. And he told me that he went there, and he preached there, and he started something there, and that something will be developed there in Albania. It's a small country, but it was like half Muslim, half Christian. And before, it was dangerous to go there. Therefore, almost no one went there. Suhotra Maharaj was at GBC there. And then later, Bhakti-Vibhava Maharaj was at GBC. But for many years, since 92 when we visited, but after 15, 20 years, no one even went there. Now devotees are doing Hariman there every year and making some contacts. And he also made some contacts. So, by the mercy of Krishna, risky country becomes favorable for preaching now. So today there are so many places where it is risky to preach, and even if you go into in a nice country like Switzerland, sometimes you can meet inimical people who are very much against, who can attack you, who can maybe rob you or something. And in former Yugoslavia also, it was in former Yugoslavia, it was also, we had some problems also to reach Krishna consciousness. So we had difficulties registering, we had sometimes difficulties with the police, and also when there was a war, the last war, we had problems with nationalists, with Chetniks, who actually attacked devotees with guns. Sunday feast, they shoot, but fortunately they didn't kill anyone. And then after that we had always security. I was in a Harinam where one of them sprayed the tear gas in the eyes of one devotee. Fortunately, it didn't hurt his eyes. The tear gas spray in the eyes. It's really, really crazy. And I remember we were, in one devotee, we had like a sitting Harinam, sitting Harinam, not moving. And then some of these people were threatening us that they will cut our neck because we are chanting Hare Krishna. They think that Hare Krishna is demoniac or something. And in several places in his teachings, Srila Prabhupada says that somebody who takes risk for Krishna, he is very dear to Krishna. Because if you love someone, you are ready to sacrifice and you are ready to take risks. You are ready to put your life on the line for that person because you have so much love. So Krishna is very much pleased. So devotee doesn't mean personal inconveniences, but it doesn't mean he should torture himself or kill himself. And concluding sentence, nothing is an impediment in the discharge of his devotional service. Nothing is an impediment. Now, we remember that one Brahmana from South India, he did the whole service. He didn't have ingredients to cook for Krishna, and he did the whole service of cooking in the mind. And he was so absorbed in this that he actually burned his finger when he tried the sweet rice with his finger to see if it's too hot, if it's offerable, so it means that it shouldn't be too hot. His meditation was so strong that he burned his finger when he tried, and I mean, externally looking, there was nothing there, but his meditation was so strong in the service that actually this rice was cooked, and actually this rice was hot, and he did this service in the mind. So service in the mind is equally powerful as the service with the physical senses. Srila Prabhupada says in several places, I was reading today. So nothing, even you cannot do anything physically, you can do service with the mind for Krishna. If you're in the prison, or if you're in the impossible situation in the war, somewhere where it's so difficult to chant, you can chant in the mind. Nothing can stop your service. Nothing can stop your service. You can serve in the mind, or you can serve with your senses. And Krishna will be pleased, and you will make spiritual advancement. So this is briefly about this verse. This is a very nice section. There is 2 more verses before the last concluding verse. The next 2 verses for Monday, some of you will speak on Monday. 18th and 19th verse is a double verse. And then in the concluding verse also Krishna concludes with general statement that one who is engaging himself with faith and make him the supreme goal, he is very, very dear to him. So thank you very much for listening. I will stop here, and Hare Krishna.
I have a lot of problem with English. I can not write